Okay, let's see if everything's set. How do I set this overlay up? Oh, is it live? Hi. Oh, whoa. I'm not done setting up, but hi. I must have accidentally clicked the live button. Totally not the music we should be listening to. What's that? You know what? Never mind. You've caught me midway. Might as well listen to the whole track. Ah, yes. Keep it even fun. We're gonna get strike if I play it for too long. Oh. Hold on. Making sure everything is working. That, this. I'll be with you shortly. Okay. We have enough sound trip. Let's go to our usual. Now, with the stream warmed up. Oh, man. There we go. Wow, I feel like I'm under some heavy post-processing. What's glowing isn't supposed to be... Well, what's supposed to be glowing isn't glowing. What can I do? Hello, everybody. All right, let's start greeting our chat. So we have Axel, Derp, Kendall, Vesper, obviously. Where's my camera? Oh, there it is. Vesper, Joe, Reed, and yes, a whole bunch of other people. Thundertune. Good evening. I'm a bit thirsty. Starting off the stream with a hydrate. What do you know? Give me a moment, chat. Gonna look funny again. Ooh, wow. Maybe I should have eaten. Drinking a lot of fluids on an empty stomach isn't exactly the most pleasant of sensations. Oh, it's like I swallowed rocks. Hi there, Axiom. I'm so happy I'm getting a new mouse today. That's right. Okay, that can either be two things, a pet mouse or a mouse that's used in conjunction with a computer. Hi there, Lance. Nice to see you. I'm not sure if that's a good angle or maybe I should just stick to this one on the side. Spotify's in the way. Sorry. Again with the not clickable. Alright, wait. Put that there. Put this here. There we go. Where am I? A ever so slight horizontal offset of 1. So what's new today? My goodness, it's already Friday, isn't it? For most of you, well, it just hit Saturday. It's 12 a.m. Saturday here. Quite literally the start of the weekend for me. But for most of you, it's probably around lunchtime on a Friday, I take it. Or at least an hour before. Where's Vesper today? She is going to head to work. Vesper continues. Mice are very cute, but they're messy. Unfortunately, I won't be showing up. Agency work meaning I'm working somewhere else today. Yes, that's true. Yes, Patricia, yes I am. Hi there, Emerald, Mattis, Mummy. Thank you for correcting TikTok, Master. The fruit tarts I was talking about last stream turned out great. One of the best things I've ever baked. Well, what do you know? You might be just cut out to be a baker. You know, I see this expression being used by the Americans. It's called fair enough. Like, you use it as a reply to a conversation. Oh, hi there, Jane. I'm glad you can. What do you know? What do you know? A pleasure seeing you here, friend. So, continuing on, I hear the Westerners use the term. I'm using the term Westerners because I'm from Southeast Asia. So, the Americans using fair enough. And I'm trying to wrap my head around how does that expression work. Like, for example, I was going to work on the windows. But then again, I set it to another day because of the rain. And then it's replied as fair enough. How is it fair and how is it enough? Yeah. No, I'm asking legitimately. So I understand the reply. I won't be too long, says Jane. Just seeing what's up. Oh, you know me. Typical bland stream. Nothing new. Trying to raise a little bit more money for the last leg of my apartment renovations. It being stormy the past, well, I think more than a week ago, did me no favors when it came to the apartment budget. I had to rent an extra month and this and that. But yes, let's see how far that goes. I was able to apply the final waterproofing layer earlier. I hope that dries up properly. Well, accounting that I did also install the fan and the floor fan. Ventilation channel. When I told this to a friend of mine, she said, "Congratulations, no more asphyxia." I'm not gonna suffocate there. It's not a hermetically sealed apartment. Sadly, I gotta leave soon to. Oh no, oh my goodness. Two of my most beloved regulars about to go skedaddle. Oh well, what can I do? When life calls, you need to answer it. So, best of luck to whatever undertaking you two are going to do. Mainly Germans in the UK, I see. It feels strange watching your stream on my PC, says Blue. I'm usually so used to seeing you on my iPad. Well, what do you know? Does it look better? What's this? I see 10 bitties along with 10 subscriptions. Mr. Jade is sending over the gift of emoticon usage to 10 lucky people in my chat. Congratulations. Can't leave without gifting. Yes. If there's something I learned from Beth, it's a term, a group effort. So I appreciate it. Where did you get to speak fluent English? Probably just from me practicing it when I speak to other people. It is currently good morning, 5 minutes from the start of Saturday. Please remodel a Nova Beast, please. Take a closer look. I am anything but. The Hydra game. Hello, Vesper, says Lucifer. That's a strange looking Nova indeed, isn't it, actually? Look at me. I'm absolutely Nova Beast. Through and through. Oops. I did the camera crop me out. Come on, turn ever so slowly. Slowly. Perfect. Chat, do I look like a Nova Beast to you? Do I have the you know? Oh. Oh yeah. Uh-oh. Why are you facing out of existence, Hans? I didn't, Nif. I'm tired of playing video games. Maybe video games are tired of playing with you. How about you go turn it off and go do something more productive, like, I don't know, watching a stream. He's a dirk. Night Beast. No. Chat. Again, this is the Hydra game made by TokyoZilla over at Gumroad. Dirk is basically a lizard Ultra Pro Man. Yes. You know, I originally had little sprouty horns on top of my head, but I decided to forego that. Don't know its exact meaning if it even has one, but fair enough for me saying I understand the person's decision. Then why don't you just say I understand? Why discount one word? You're a Luna Beast, a Nova Beast spin-off, right? That is what Vesper is. I don't know its exact meaning if it even has one, but fair enough. Yes, that's true. Yeah. I'm gonna ask, did you have someone make something like a VN recently? Yeah, of course. You must have seen the the visual novel made by Neon J Arts. It was fantastic. I was given the privilege of playing chapter 1, and I actually really like it. No, I don't actually. Unfortunately, I'm not that cultured. Don't they have horns? Maybe I'm tripping. I don't remember. Do they? I'm not sure. Jellyberry says, I remember watching you live in 2023. You look so different now. Oh, you must have seen my very first live where I was but the VTuber on the corner of the screen. Yes. It is what it is. Have a fun stream. See you around. See you around, Mr. Jane. Geb, it's weird on Wednesday when you became another Vesper It was so eerie seeing too. Look, I handle a bunch of my friends' avatars, so don't be surprised. Yes, John, yes, I am. I can't wait to move into the new apartment, not only for the benefit of a larger play space, but for the better audio quality. Right now, NVIDIA Broadcast is absolutely stressing itself, keeping everything masked out. The sound of my AC, the sound of my air pumps, the sound of the bubbling from the air pumps on my aquarium, the sound of my refrigerator humming ever so slowly, and many, many much more. Ooh. New apartment. I'm gonna make sure there's no noise producing things over at the main play space. Also, I got a better view of the avatar you made, Matthew. Ah, yes, Matthew perfectly looks the role he is fitting, right? Perfectly suits the role he is fit. I am so bad at English today. Go ahead, Roy. Somebody called me wife innocent, the front man himself. Hi there, Matthew. I hope you're not out leveling us over at Legendary Tales again. I gotta figure out what to do with my avatar next, as Axel. I can't allow another incident. Oh, I'm tempted to pull a screenshot of the whole tail butt scenario. But we wouldn't wanna pop your bubble, wouldn't we? I'm sure you had that resolved. Maybe add some underwear. She's never living that down. Oh, yes. If you saw it, it's pretty much hard to unsee it. Put the camera there. No, has to be here. Yeah, fixed. Don't worry. Even as I, who tweaks avatars, I often overlook a lot of things too. It's like, wait a minute. Why is the bracelet clipping through my wrist? Or something like that, as you saw in... If you notice in my previous lives, well, maybe 3 lives back, this bracelet was not properly placed. Well, will you look at that? Good old Zach giving the gift of dollars. Thank you so much for moving our little fundraising bar a bit more to the middle. I appreciate it. Tomorrow, listen. Once the bar gets filled up, I will be focusing 100% on the app. Oh, wow, that's weird. It's like one eye is blue. You know what? I'm gonna fix that real quick. I think it's the post-processing of this world. Or I can just change the camera angle, yeah. It's like I got a black eye, chat. Oh, I don't think I can turn that off, can I? Oh, well. I guess it's just something we'll have to live with. I wonder, why do you mostly stream near midnight in Philippine time? For the simple fact that I sleep during the afternoon, well, after lunch, and then I wake up close to 10 p.m. Or at least at 10 p.m. 10:30 in this instance tonight. I overslept. So, yeah. I'm a bit of a night owl, hence the scheduling. By the way, I love the new server banner. See? Told you I'd do something with the iron. As much as I wanted to keep Kai's excellent rendition of a shirtless me as the banner, That would be my previous form, so I needed something more up to date. Thank you, Taco. Pep, are you Filipino?
Yes. Paydu wants to thank you for setting the server banner as her artwork.
I think she can say it herself, but yes, you're welcome, Pingju. I think you deserve the recognition. Trial and error. Oh, yes. You and I are both very familiar with this thing, aren't we, Axiom? Trying things, seeing if they work. Again, just enjoying our little game of show and tell that is VR chat, isn't it? Ah, yes. It looks really good as the banner. It does. Again, it resembles a album art for probably a vinyl record and an old CD, perchance a cassette. Think Megadeth or Metallica era. Did you change the color of your eyebrows? They seem a little darker. No, that is simply the world lighting acting funny. It's probably the ambient occlusion. Let's see if I can overwrite that. No, I cannot. You hold no power here. And I am absolutely divine now. Nope. I'm actually supposed to look like this, Chan. A thousand pardons. I didn't know you were streaming. No, don't worry about it, Mystic. I'm the type who's lazy to update their status while in VR chat. I go drop you a visit later if you're still online. I do want to see that roller coaster you were making and the funny little train that you could ride on. I'm cooking potato. What is potato potatoes? Fried chips, perchance. I'm going to listen until you fall asleep. I fall asleep. Yeah, go ahead, please. Don't worry about it, Zoxy. Might need some extra ice too. Oh, Axel's modeler. The one in the banner. Is it hard to set up live or VR chat? Not really. All you need is the in-game tools, which is already provided. Turn on your camera, set it to stream. Set it as the source in OBS or your preferred streaming tool of choice. Then you're good. I don't know with Linz. Vesper says, a little sad seeing as I'll be at work. Oh my, oh my. For me to endure. No. You may be able to catch the tail end of the hangout, Vesp. We will see. Later, I might be full force into working on my apartment. These renovations, I need to do them. I am on the clock. I have about 14 days remaining until I need to sign, until I move into the apartment. I have a deadline per se. Oh no. Thank you. It's just a funny, silly word. It's just fried potatoes with onions. Oh my. Fried onions. I do miss me my onion rings. I just don't like it when the onion rings is just a tad bit too oily. Grease running down on your lips, caking up, not the sensation I want on them. Why, if it isn't Biff? So the true question, are you on schedule to meet your deadline? In order for me to do that, I need to put a break on streaming next week or latest next week. Once the water is dry, Beth, I will be boarding it up with the plywood. Once the plywood is set, I have to move everything in the photo that you saw of my apartment, the black parcels, outside. They're heavy. Put all of the flooring down. No, I have to clean the water damage first, right? I have to the mold and mildew. After a bit of cleaning, I have to put the flooring down. Once the flooring is down, it has to be cut into shape too. I have to start on the walling and the ceilings. Once that is done after a couple of days, I have to go start on the furniture. I have to assemble the shelves, my new computer table, my bed frame, and then, well, the mattress, of course. After that is done, I have to sort out the lighting. I have rudimentary lighting right now. Like I put bulbs on the light sockets. After the lighting, I have to go solve the plumbing because the water pressure on the fifth floor ain't the best. I use these little 12-volt booster pumps in order to have a bearable, usable water pressure. After that's done, I have to go wire up the water heater because there is no dedicated socket or circuit breaker for something that draws around 5 to 6,000 watts. So that's a new line. I have to go drill in the wall and whatnot. And then after that, which is the easy part, I have to start moving my stuff up. And I need to do that in a proper order because I don't think I can do all that in a day, stamina-wise. Probably move my computer first, install the base stations, and so much. Yeah, it's still a lot. But I am fairly certain we will meet our 2-week deadline. Just that list made my battery drain. I do not envy you.
Love your blueberry and cinnamon bun. Gebo Winkyard.
Why, thank you, Mister. It really goes a long way. I would be lying if I said I use 100% of this bar's funds just for hardware and installation material. Part of it actually goes to food, and I had to buy an extra fan just for me because, gosh, it was hot when I was working on the apartment. But it's manageable. Things should be better once I have the AC installed, which is another thing I did not tell you guys about. I have to ask one of the staff, one of the maintenance guys in my apartment, to lift it up, and then we need to shove it perfectly into the window AC socket. After that, I have to call my ISP, like, hello? Yes, I would wish to transfer the location of my line. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm the same residence, just moving 2 floors on. How much? $100. Okay, all right, fine. Just when? Between tomorrow and a week? All right. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So yeah, I have to call my ISP in order to relocate my internet. Another one to the list of things to do. Sorry, let me go read chat. There's Stardust. Oh, it's Pink Dew. Do you sleep in a new apartment too? No. I will start sleeping there starting on the 15th. So yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there.
ISP cost.
Thank you, Beth. Oh, God, I wish it was free. I really wish it was free. On paper, it's free, but they'll never do it. You have to pay the contractors too. They're gonna give all sorts of crap. Oh, sir, we can only afford an extension of 3 meters with a fiber line. But maybe perchance you could allocate a budget for more and we can work something out. AKA, I need to pay the guy. So, yes. Thanks, Bev. I'm just the middleman at this point. The thing you said is gonna go to him. I'm gonna drink again. Man, that was a mouthful of words. So, Mystic, Bev, Zach, thank you for tonight's contribution so far. Gosh, Mystic, weren't you saving up for a computer too? How's your goal going? Thank you, Nunya Bez. Hopefully they have fiber in that apartment. That is one saving grace. I do have fiber. Unlike Matthew Sunseeker, who unfortunately is stuck with, what is this, like VDSL? It's like I don't like onion. I won't eat them on its own. Onion rings is fairly delicious, especially with the right breading and that sour dip. I got here late, but at least I'm here. You know what? Hold on. Maybe make this fly closer. Go here. Because I am gonna go see if I can adjust. Hold on. There we go. There has to be something I can adjust here. Don't mind me. I'm still here. I'm still here. See, I'm here. I'm trying to fix the darn lighting, which is making my eyebrows dark and my other eye darker. Nope. Where is it? Hmm. Oh wow, no. I have a feeling I know what it is. You know what? Screw it. Let's just live with it. Movie director panel. Huh. Oh, it's a flashlight. Anywho, we're going back to where we were. Sorry for the immersion break, everybody. There is my stool. There we go. Where was it? Somewhere there, right? Then it zoomed in. Too bright. Yeah. Hey, it still works. See, it's not just my eyebrows that got dark, it's like my claws and my veins too. These are supposed to be the same color as my eyes. Where were we? Okay, reading back on chat. Not a big fan of rice as Blue Scales. Not really a potato person, but aren't you British? Shouldn't you guys love potatoes? The same way we're stereotyped with liking rice. And I love rice. Okay. Now, the original owners are getting up here, so they're working on a transfer of ownership right now. Okay. Rice is rice, that's true. Chat, I love rice with pretty much everything. Yes. Yes, I am. The neonar glow is not glowing, doesn't mean you haven't eaten anything. It's just a reflection of me running low on mojo. I am both looking forward to and not the work I have to do tomorrow. Oh man, I have to drill around the perimeter of the windows, and then I have to go somehow make the plywood stick without fall. I may need a second guy. Hello, Libine. Yes, the mojo. I know a world where the lighting is fixed and proper. I'm considering moving there. Maybe, perchance. It seems you're curious about my ethnicity. Again, I'm Filipino. Sure. Half, though. The other half is Chinese. Ching chong bing bong. I'm Chinese, I can say. Oh, who sent the galaxy? If it isn't Nova Death Queen VR47. Normally the name of things to put on the watch list of Discord DM soliciting commissions, but well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. What's this? I'm going to try my best to get some rest before work, says Zach. Enjoy the stream and don't forget to eat like I do all the time. Zach, thank you so much for helping me. I appreciate it. Your contributions go a long way, and this applies to everybody else. Rest well in the sweetest of dreams. You're moving. How exciting. I just moved from IN to VA. Indiana and Vancouver. Days so far. Love it. Well, congratulations. I hope the place you were moving into was furnished. Mine isn't. And I am doing the renovations part of things. Virginia, right? Virginia. Virginia. I see. Indiana to Virginia, if they're using US state codes. Pardon my lack of familiarity with the US state codes. I've never been to the States. Maybe one day. People have been urging me to do so. Oh, get a passport, travel the world. It's fantastic there. I would rather travel to places like Switzerland or, heck, even Australia would work. Because I want to visit Mecca. I love the jazz so much. Well, you know me, I only just play one track each time I go live. Though this VOD will probably partially get muted because I played a funny track at the start. I could edit it, but it does involve quite the amount of work and processing power to do so. Darn it, Linkin Park. Why do you have to be so fantastically nostalgic? Those are details I would rather keep to myself, thank you. Terp says, I will admit some parts of the States are beautiful, but other times you're driving through the countryside for an hour or more finding a city. You guys do have enormous swaths of land. Yes, Linkin Park. Fantastic. I was listening to In the End earlier. I didn't notice I clicked the live stream button already. That's the beautiful part, the rolling hills and mountains. Yeah. That my cat. Hi, cat. How about you take a guess, Kevin? Wow, the lunch is bigger than expected. Well, look at you with a surplus of food. Congratulations, Blue. I said you could guess. I would never, ever confirm my age. I'm gonna guess 26. Really? Do I sound that young slash old? 30, says Starlight. Hmm. I see. 28 says Pink Dew. 43 says the Lulunes. 23, 45. Look at that wide range between the mid 20s to your mid 40s. One thing I can confirm at least is I am not yet an old man with all gray hair. I don't think you're 30 yet. We don't hear your knees cracking when you stand up. You see, that's the secret, Beth. I pre-cracked them a long time ago. I'm sure you're in your 30s since you said you played Half-Life on the PlayStation. That's true. I do leave little breadcrumbs of information as to how old I am in range, at least, right? I speak of the days of MS-DOS, playing games on Windows 98. I know what Jazz Jackrabbit is. Have you ever played Scorched Earth? Oh, the Command and Conquer series when things were still beautifully managed by Westwood Studios, and they had the funny CGIs for their cutscenes. When Half-Life 1 had two versions, the really crappy one and the quote-unquote remastered one. And then there's a new remaster now. Linkin Park is a clue. Yes. I remember seeing the music video for Hybrid Theory. What was it? It involved these like dragonfly people with spears, and they were combating what seemed like blue wisps of energy. It was like a war. I recall he says he played the orange box. Your live is flagged. Oh my, really? For talking about Half-Life? Oh dear. Okay. Guess they don't like you, Gordon Freeman. Let's just go. Close that funny window. If I can. Do you sing, Geb? Most definitely not during lives. What if I fumble? Have you been to a jazz bar or lounge? Do they exist where you are? Yeah, they do. Have I been to one? No. The closest one I could ever relate to would probably a bar a friend of mine owns. It's more of a chill place than the usual disco pub that they call a bar, where everybody's just sweaty, dancing, and worst of all, inebriated. Inebriated. How do you call it? Drunk. Don't remind my Command and Conquer. I'm talking about the very first one. Hello, Haruxi. What Blue Scale said is probably the most accurate. I am trying to go analyze that sentence you just said. Hey Gebas, why your live VR model were detailed and at normal vid is simple detailed? You may be looking at my older model, aka my older videos. I only have so much with this current one that you're seeing before you right now. I remember playing Age of Empires 3 a whole lot. 3, I played Age of Empires 2. You had to type a funny code and then you would spawn this blue car with machine guns on it. You probably need to stretch. You know what? That's true. I love your lives again. The atmosphere in the one-sided conversation is relaxing. Ah, yes. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you're entertained. I really need to start expanding my vocabulary. Maybe I need to read books. If only I had access to an online thesaurus live, this would be... I don't even know the proper word. I never had Age of Empires 2 or 1. I played Age of Mythology a lot too. It's one of the reasons I like mythology so much today. There used to be a game called Warlords. It was a turn-based game. It was me and my brother's favorite. Because we would have this game mode called a hot seat, which means it's two players playing on the same computer. When it's my turn, well, I'm the one controlling the mouse. When it's his turn, he controls the mouse. Yes. Suicide, yes. Of course, Gulman. I know my looks are not for everybody. Some say, Gab, you look scary now, Gab. You look ever so threatening. Me, please. I'm probably one of the most chill dragon out there. I also don't sugarcoat anything. I always stick to the tenet of speaking the truth. Whether it's abrasive or not. I'm in love with Mass Effect 3. Still not yet done with those calibrations, Shepard. This is my favorite store in the Citadel. Warcraft 2 and 3. Oh man, so you played Warcraft 2, where things were still 2D. Yeah, very different. Is that the origin? No. Hydra. Hydra game. Still getting used to how to control this. Thanks, Wolfie. I remember playing Warcraft 3 back then, where when Dota, Defense of the Ancients, was still just one of the custom maps. Those were the good times, because your opponents and your teammates, they all were within proximity. Imagine a 5 versus 5, and then the person that you just kicked ass is directly across you. And then, of course, there are roars, there are cheers. The energy of computer shops from LAN gaming was definitely different back then. Yes, Tokyo Zilla's fantastic at what they do. Stop screen peek. Here, when we play Counter Strike, and then your friend is on the computer next to you, and then you just naturally like you look at his screen, and then you know where he's hiding. He's camping, and then you'd like do that while you're playing. Cover it with your shoulder, or you would like twist your monitor a bit more to the left or right. Yeah, those were the days. The hate. Oh, to us Filipinos, we envied the Americans who had access to the Xbox. We saw how Halo played. It seemed like such a magical next generation thing. I remember Halo being touted as the most graphically advanced game back then. I remember looking at the grass and like, oh, that's incredible. And then I never got to play it back then. I never had the Xbox. So the most I had about Halo culturally was from watching Red versus Blue. I don't know if you guys know that, but it was a funny thing made by Rooster Teeth. It was on YouTube. I remember Caboose. I remember Sarge. I'm so excited for Battlefield 6. I watched the stream replay last night. Is it from Jack Frags? Yeah, that's true. I look forward to it too. I really don't like it when they enforce identity on you just so you can use various abilities or classes. I would rather just be a unnamed masked soldier with looks that you can customize. Yeah. But yes, I do look forward to it. I think the tiny detail of having damage numbers to the enemy you're shooting and like the hit locations after, for stat nerds like me, I love it. I absolutely do. I do miss the changing attachments on the fly though. Always wanted to just bring a ×2 thermal and then a times 4 to 6 for like the long range shots. Spyro the Dragon. Yes. Thank you. Maraming salamat. Alright, so they want to hear my Tagalog. What do we say? Anong oras na ba? Lagpas hating gabi na. Ba't pa ba kayo gising? Wala ba kayong mas mabuting gagawin kung hindi manood ng stream sa cellphone nyo? Are we still at the age thing? Man. Good old Ocarina of Time was my first. Ocarina of Time? So you played on the Game Boy? That's where I played mine. I think it was... Yeah, Ocarina of Time and Temple of Seasons, right? Or something like that. I remember the Zelda game was split into two. The N64... Oh, wait. No. The Ocarina of Time was the first 3D one, right? Where you had to talk to the Deco tree and everything. My first Zelda was A Link to the Past. You see, I used to have a Super Nintendo Entertainment System, the magical gray brick. Oh, man. Oh, of course not. You can find the base at Gumroad. A challenge? No. Again, find it at Gumroad. It's made by Tokyo Zilla. It's the Hydra game. Where were we? Stretch. Amopoko says, my first gaming system was a PlayStation 1, which was also a gray brick. Ah, yes. Have you guys ever experienced the era of PlayStation demo discs? I remember seeing a black PlayStation disc. I think it came along with one of those magazines back then. That's where I had a demo of Metal Gear Solid, and then when I actually got to play the game, oh, my mind was blown away. That's where my love for the Metal Gear series started. Man, the voice acting, the cinematography, it was well way beyond its time. There fuego. What's this? How can you do that? Live stream with an animation. Well, Wang Ming, you have to go check Steam and then, or just go to the VRChat website and see what the game's about. It's free. I got the demo of Tekken 2. Ah, yes. A Sega Dreamcast. I always consider the Dreamcast as like the PlayStation Pro Max, given its somewhat advanced features. The game is free, but the avatars aren't. I mean, there are public avatars you can use, but if you want something like this, obviously you need to either pay somebody to do it for you and buy the materials for it, or just buy the materials for it and do the rest of the work yourself. Hideo Kojima's a time traveler. God, he's such a genius. And I love how he self-inserts into the game and it's still just him. It's the very flat personality where he always showcases his eyeglasses. Don't spoil me. I haven't played Death Stranding 2 yet. I have 10. Hello, Starry. Ah, why if it isn't V? Hi there. Nice seeing you. A highlighted message, alright. What does this say? Hey Geb, I have to go work, so I hope you have a great day and sleep. Wow, so you can have as much energy. You don't want to sick, Geb. Well, you go rest well too, Spartan. I'll see you around. Thanks for tuning in as long as you have. Speaking of V, I've managed to hang out with V despite, well, a minor case of tardiness on someone's end. But at least we had a fun time in the end. Surprisingly. I'm not gonna spoil too much, obviously, but I'm glad I've been able to meet the person. I'm a little drinky. Oh my. I see. Well, better make sure you're within proximity of something soft in case you need to, lie down. See you around, stranger. Beth says, I have not played Death Stranding 1, but gosh, the clips I've seen out of the second one, I don't know what game is. It's nuts. I think you can just go to YouTube and watch the Death Stranding 1 all cinematics thing. It's gonna be like a movie and you just skipping parts so you can catch up. I suggest you do. And then you hop into 2. But playing Death Stranding is certainly an experience on its own. It's, dare I say, meditative. There was a part where it's just quiet, you're running down with your parcels, like that. And then while the credits is rolling, and then the music starts, It's hard to just put into words, but it's something of a visual treat that needs to be experienced firsthand. I see. Daryl. Yeah. Ever since I saw Norman Reedus in The Walking Dead, I said, "Oh man, I like this dude." Everybody likes him, but I do. Always has that personality. My friend doesn't like him for some reason. She says that Norman looks stinky. I mean, obviously, it's The Walking Dead. What do you expect? Not everybody has access to a nice hot shower there. Yeah, a cold personality against danger. And then he has like a crossbow, which perfectly complements his, like, him. Not to mention that guy is actually really cool outside of movies. He's into motorcycles too. I could not survive in that world. I need to keep clean. You and me both. Greek says, my mother says the same with pro wrestlers. Like, oh, he looks so smelly. I don't like him. Oh, say. Hi there, Dorian. If it isn't blue and red. Can you say one word in French? Fromage. Speaking of Walking Dead, I actually met Shane. Really? Wow. I don't know. I have a few I keep close to my heart. What's the best advice you have? Behave if you want to remain on stream. Howdy. You know, TikTok really doesn't like me today. Hold on, let's see. So we're gonna use our funny mouse and then complete this challenge. So I have to slide a jigsaw puzzle to the right and then there we go. Nice. Behave if you want to remain on stream as bad advice. No! Oh, you're right. Wait, I thought it was good life advice. I forgot, I disabled that. Bad life advice. The best one I have. You ever miss your parents and you haven't talked to them in a long while? Well, it's simple. The first thing to get their attention, to get their heart pounding, is send them a message and say, Mom, Dad, you're going to be grandparents soon. Surely that will garner their attention. Well, if you consider 3 weeks old new, yes. And then don't answer when they call you. Yes. You want to suffer from anxiety worse than any shot of coffee can? Set your phone on silent while you're out on a party and you're still below 18, and then see 50 missed calls from your mom or dad. The type, when you look at it, you know you're dead when you get home. Are you real? No, I'm just a bunch of moving pixels on the device you're watching me from. Are you? Vesper says, so far so good with my shift. First customer was a sweet Southern grandpa instead of a toot parent. Win so far. Onyx, are you the one I reprimanded for not reading the rules when you said you were? Matthew says, I'm gonna hit 1 hour of Legendary, then I have a meeting to attend in VRT. A meeting? My goodness. I'll catch you later, Gab. Have a nice stream and take care. Yeah, see you around. When was the avatar change? I do believe that was sometime July. Or was it late June? Why? I just needed something that was more me. Oh, what V said. No worries, Greg. I cannot comply with that request, Kenji. I can take it off for you though. I really need to organize my menus. Well now, where nothing much happening here. No, not that way. My goodness. Okay, let me go back. I'm gonna check my Discord real quick. All right. Let's see. Upsuit ANC. I may be out of mana, but I'm not out of options. You know, hot take, I think predators look absolutely filthy. Ah, yes, the spinning propeller. And Blue Scales is serving food. Those look like bread that needs to be torched or toasted a tiny, teeny bit. Yeah. All right. Yes, rule number 5. Something so simple, really. I may skim through server rules, but I at least make sure I read them once. If there's a requirement, I fulfill it. Like, I don't have to be active in the server to comply with its laws. I wonder why I can't click things. Strange. No, just like keeping things having, you know, a modicum of organization. I've seen many servers be mismanaged because they're too lax with the people. They're too coddling of newbies. If you read rule number 1, you'll understand what I mean. One of the people that irks me the most, the type, are people who think they're all that or big, where they have an ego that has gone to their hands, and they have no way or means or awareness to know how to humble themselves back to the ground. I never brag about the things I have, Jan. The only real things I'm proud of, perchance, is the wonderful community that I do have, that I keep and take care of. If you walk up to me and then all you do is brag and talk about your things that I never even asked about, that will be the last time you and I are gonna have that conversation. Especially when you're sharing an experience, right? You're sharing, hi, oh, did you know I have this? I managed to save up a little bit and I managed to finally achieve the small goal of mine. And then they one up you. Oh, actually, mine is better. You know, I do that too, but more. Like, I didn't know we were having a competition. Somebody trying to one up you is definitely a hallmark of insecurity. You mentioned you're using a Quest Pro, right? Asked Drax, the Fire Tiger Bee. Do you have anything else to track them out, or just the Quest Pro? Oh, it's just the Quest Pro, really. Thank you, Miranda. A lot of you may be wondering, why is the face tracking you have on your Quest Pro really good? In all honesty, the Quest Pro isn't at tracking. You will run into its limitations when you try other things like ARKit, for example, from the iPhone, or if you try how the Babbel tracker works. It's much more organic, more fluid. But let's just say a lot of avatar creators out there have found a way to emulate things and work around these limitations. I too have learned a bunch of tips and tricks to make things look more fluid. Drax says, I dislike people having shark mentality. As a tiger bee, I prefer a hive. Ah, so you're communist. Got it. I'm just joking. Onyx says, learning about Gebus's personalities is quite the intimidating one, but I am surprisingly more astonished and intrigued in memorizing than scared. Of course, I'm not here to scare people off. If anything, it is me being grounded in truth and frankness, and me not sugarcoating anything that scares people off. And if anything, that's a benefit for me. Those are the kind of company I don't like around. You see, I don't like being around a group which you have to lie to in order for them to feel validated or happy, acknowledged. Like, oh yes, you are absolutely beautiful at 800 pounds. No, you're not. You're horribly out of shape. You're morbidly obese and you need to do something if you want to live past a couple of more decades. That sort of deal. Oh, please, you are doing fantastic. Don't let what other people say bother you. You do you, honey. And then you're actually supporting a massive alcoholic or substance vice of theirs, and you're not helping the person. You tell them straight, are you sure you know what you're doing? Are you sure you know that it's bad for you and you accept the risks for it? Okay. Egotistical people, I cannot. I absolutely cannot stand anybody who is egotistical. Especially people who forget the most basic of things. Hi, please, thank you, you're welcome. I appreciate it. The most basic of basic in manners, right? I actually talked about this in a video before. Most people say that common courtesy and manners exercised in public is a show of weakness in some societies. I'm like, a show of weakness? What? To show that you're educated and well mannered? I do not see the logic in this reasoning. Is it so hard to say thank you? Or please, if you're requesting something of a stranger? Oh, look, yeah. It doesn't mean you can't be playful with your words, though. I mean, look at Axel here and the peculiar situation of the tail. Oh, yeah, I know. What's the name? TikTok has been sending me a lot of DMs about an impersonator, Bassett Studio. Chat, there's only one TikTok account, and that's this one, which is at Gebos, nothing else. At Gebos for TikTok, at Gebos for Twitter, at Gebos for Twitch, and everywhere else. If you see anybody using my picture or posing as me and it's not at Gebos, that's not me, chat. Do me a favor and just report these people, and surely they shall trouble us no longer. Thank you for telling me about your mic as well. Oh, yeah, of course. No worries. The tail of Axie's tail. An accessory for the buttocks. Thank you, Frost. He's still active, Blue. But last time I checked their profile, they aren't posting any of my new videos. It's all my old ones from 2 models ago. I'm not sure how people are able to fall prey to such an obvious impersonation. Yes, I know. Yawning is indeed contagious. Many a times when I yawn on stream, chat complains that you're making me yawn too. Return of the Body Snatchers. Uh, Look, they can repost my videos, but they can never emulate my lives. That's why I'm not really bothered by it. I'm actually more bothered by the amount of people saying that this guy still persists. I think it's an important DM on TikTok. Yeah, well, whatever. It's really obvious. Shocked that people still impersonate these days. Yeah. What do we know? What can we do? It's a good thing my material is rather hard to impersonate if you think about it. because I don't make sketches, skits, and whatnot that people can just grab. I actually use material which involves my real voice. So if they are going to ask or show any proof that it's me, the moment they don't sound like me, you know it's not me. I'm not saying my voice is any measure. What I'm saying is that I have a unique signature, a way of talking. No, Haruxi, that's what you call jazz. It's only been an hour and 21 minutes. Time seems to be flowing slower than I anticipated. Hold on. Another drink. You talk in a way I've never heard anyone do before, and I love it. So, oh, thank you, Darren.
Three.
Whoa, what do you know? 3? What do you mean 3? Thank you so much, Zerda. Nudging the bar ever so slightly so I didn't wait, no, English proper words. Moving the bar. Thank you so much. When I say slightly so, it's like I'm downplaying the amount. No. Oh, it was supposed to be the neuron face. I think it's called the neuron face, the cat face. Yeah, that one. Thank you, Zerda. You didn't have. Why are you watching me on TikTok and on Twitch at the same time? But smart. Because we can. Okay, fine. I won't argue against that. Have a shower in Linkin Park. Yeah, go ahead. I was going through memory lane of my high school music, and Linkin Park just happened to be there. I remember when I heard Coldplay for the first time and I listened to Clocks. It was just, I was flying. It was magical. The model is so crisp. You make me sound like I'm cracklings or something. I can't stop sneezing. Maybe if you swipe up, you'll stop. Perchance you're allergic to me. Do you know the Chainsmokers? I never really listened to them. Double the Kepos is a good reason to watch both streams. Please. New highlights on your hair? No, perhaps. So it's still the same. Nothing exceptional, really. I'm just using a Quest Pro and Slime Trackers. The budget option, if you think about it. I love crackling. Same here. Here we call it chicharron. Chicharron is always such a good treat. No, I am neither, Allosaurus. Can we be friends? The possibility is there. I am using 10. Alright. 1, 2. Well, this counts as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then obviously for each side. So two. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I have 10 slime trackers. Funny, all I do is sit around. I don't really move. This app like a Nova. It looks like a Nova, really. With this profile. With this face. Maybe it's the eyebrows. With some very advanced sitting, yes. That's my specialty. I just I sit around. Third says same here. I made the first set of slimes myself. But they look dangerous, so I bought some. You know what? Same here. I guess it's the same as being able to cook your own food. Like, yes, I can bake my own lasagna or my cookies. But more often than not, the well-practiced, established bakeries, pastry shops will do a better job in a quicker manner than you will. You see, me, when it comes to eating food, I debate. I can prepare my own food and maybe save 20% more on the budget. Or I can just order food and save 300% on time because I don't need to do the dishes. I don't need to prepare the ingredients, cook and whatnot. Whenever you cook food, more often than not, the preparation, the cooking, and the cleanup is 95% of the time consumed. 5% is just this actual consumption of the meal. Oh, it just works that way, Hope. But yes, I don't know, almost. See you around, bummers. Derp. Another inquiry about how I got my persona into existence. Well, I don't know. I cobbled things that I liked and then mashed them together. That's pretty much it. And thanks, Navi. Lauren says, for me at least, I really enjoy cooking. So spending the time to make it part of enjoying the food I make. The thing is, Doran, I do not have access to a proper kitchen. Unlike Beth here, for example. The most I can do is air fry things. But having a proper oven, a stove, even my new apartment does not have space for that. I don't have the proper ventilation system for it. The conduit that's like above to suck in all the smoke. Here, it's gotta be smokeless. I don't even know if I can set up a grill over that teeny tiny balcony I showed you over at the media channel. Hello, Alistair. Fried chicken with what? With what, Libby? Hey, thank you so much, Mufta. Beth says I have 2 proper kitchens and I still suck at cooking. Air fryer is life. Air fryer is life. That's true. Do you know those little magic ovens that was available when you were younger? Like those Barbie oven kits. The air fryer is essentially the grown-up version of it. You put stuff in it, it magically strains the oil. And it comes out nice and hot or crispy or baked. The easy bake ovens. Yes. Are those scales on your ears? My ears? No, those aren't scales. Let me move a little bit. There. I'm not reading your name. But the question goes, what cuisines are you enjoying more recently? Meaning Asian, Latin America, I am a big fan of Chinese cooking. I think over anything else, they just make meals that are cheap and delicious. It's hard to not like Chinese cuisine unless it's overly spicy. Some of the Szechuan dishes are, oh my goodness, inflammatory is the proper term I would use. Thank you, Popori. Popori, that's cute. I would name my shop Popori. They have those in the Philippines. What? Chinese cuisine. Chinese restaurants are everywhere. Fashion. I need to restock my ramen for next semester, says Axel. I haven't made a nice bowl of it yet. Just the instant ramen cups with a little garlic powder. All you need are scallions, some egg, and, oh, for me, a little bit of seaweed to make any instant ramen a premium thing to enjoy. Yes, I'm from the Philippines. Kaya wag na kayong makulit sa chat, okay? Alam ko, nakikita ko yung mga spam na tinatype nyo. Mamaya kayo sa akin, yari ka. Is Mami also a Chinese? Mami? I think it is. You can buy it over at the Kowloon houses, right? I suffer for the spice. I love the feeling. Same here. That is my ramen. If I feel fancy, I add an egg. Yes, Bev. Grilled vegetables and smoked meat. My favorite. Hi there, Finn. Finn. There is a Finn I know, but I haven't spoken to in a long while. I wonder how they are. Maybe enjoying some fontana. That really? Give me some reminders that you are that Finn then. What was the last picture I asked you to show me? I don't know who you are, but this rig is amazing in the camera. Oh, please. I'm just simply trying to make the boring a little less boring. That's all. Wow. Mami. Mamisita. I wonder where Finn went. Probably needs to show up in VR sometime and let me say hello again. Just like the good old days. I guess it wasn't the same Finn, according to Axel. Exactly. Mamisita. I don't know. DC or Marvel? You know, ever since that new Superman came out, I've given up on DC. Marvel all the way. Speaking of which, I get to watch this week and the new Thunderbolts thing, finally. Yes. No spoilers. You know how to rig an avatar? Cool. To an extent. I I have an avatar I built from scratch. You know, from the Blender Cube. I got it working with full body. I got it working with full face too. Am I gonna use it? No, of course not. The only part that remains from that Avi is this tie, this keepsake of mine. The first thing I've ever really made properly. The new Superman is great. I don't know. I like the Zack Snyder version better. More nitty, more gritty. This one was. Yes. To each their own, though. If you enjoyed it, then fantastic. It's what matters. That the movie made you have a good time. It's like choosing food, you know? Not all flavors are the same for everybody. Thunderbolts is so good. You love it. Oh, I know. I bet I will. Seeing US agent. Oh, you're Filipino. That answered a lot. Like what? That I like rice. No, I haven't. The Magicians. I want dark DC. Yeah, like Justice League Dark was it? Where it's like uncensored and everything. Marvel is great because it's. I don't know. It's just good, but it's very. In the end, it's still sanitized. Now, if you say so, Drax. To be fair, Superman was introduced as the hero of the people sort of deal. Come on, farm boy and everything. But I guess I'm just more into the dark side of the comics and whatnot. And the way Zack Snyder presented his it was in the tone that I preferred. I wish he would make. I wish DC would hand it over back to Snyder. I really do. I just want this nitty gritty scenes, destruction power, like everything. Not things that they're too scared to show, you know? Creature Commandos. Oh, yeah, I watched that. Actually, like Creature Commandos. I love that show. You see, I like shows like Creature Commandos. I absolutely love Invincible. Probably one of my favorite series of all times. Especially season 1 with Omni-Man and oh, I love it. I wish more cartoons was like that. Not some held back political dialogue and whatnot. Ugh, it's so boring. No, I want people punching things and things breaking. Things being real with consequences, you know what I mean? That's so good, it's dark. Yes. Have you watched the Reacher? Is it the Jack Reacher thing? No, I haven't. I need to check that out. Speaking of which, I haven't watched Punisher yet. Is it good? The last Marvel series I watched was Loki, and well, way before that, Luke Cage. I know. Loki was 10 out of 10. I loved it. Reacher the show versus the movie. I haven't watched anything, so probably gonna see. Punisher and Daredevil are very good. Funny how Daredevil looks like Filthy Frank. It doesn't help. But yeah, I will probably check them out when I have time. Maybe when the dust settles from my apartment move, I can maybe catch up on some shows. It's been a while. Yeah, alright. So show it is. Thank you, Doc. Daredevil's first person view looks like how to basic. Is there a first person? But he's blind. How can there be a first person POV there? Ow. John Krasinski. Got it. Save some money making the movie. POG is just that's where the budget cut is. I see. You remind me of the old X-Men movies. The old X-Men, the Daredevil one, where he was fighting Bullseye. Yeah. Yes, chat. I am a dragon. I love Omni-Man. I need to stop watching bloody things. There's nothing wrong with it, really. Just because you enjoy these things doesn't mean you're a psychopath. Hi there, Perky. Who is your favorite Marvel character? Oh, yours is Bucky Barnes. Mine is close. It's not Cap. Is it Tony? It probably is Tony. Either that or it's Thor. Funny guy. Dexter. I watched the original Dexter. The first few. Yeah. Back then. Way back then. I also watched some Hannibal. It's fascinating to see how the minds of these people work, how their logic is actuated into action. Dexter's Laboratory. The smartest boy who ever lived. Yes, of course I watched Dexter. I watched Dexter. I watched I Am Weasel, Powerpuff Girls, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Johnny Bravo. Heck, I even watched the Flintstones, Space Ghost, Coast to Coast during the evening. I watched Ambers, the Rugrats, Legends of the Hidden Temple, The Boring Global Guts. I watched Rocko's Modern Life. And what else did I miss? Cat Dog, of course, Cat Dog. Ed, Ed and Eddie. Oh, I wish there were more episodes of Ed, Ed and Eddie. I always found it so hard to catch the show. Kids Next Door, yeah. Ed, Ed and Eddie had this really unique art style. It was charming. It captured the 90s really well. It looks like the Dan version of this anime. Well, thank you so much, Ajas. Ajas? Hope I'm pronouncing it right. There's a Carly Dog. Freaky Fred. Naughty. Goddamn Freaky Fred. Tan, 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 tan. Yes, he's the freaky barber, chat. Oh, you know what was creepy? Everything was really unsettling in Courage, if you think about it. Like, the guy who's just like returned the slab or the tree that had the realistic mouth on it. Like, literally. Yep. Oh, man. Augie and the Cock. I don't think so. Return the slab. Yep. I also watched Ren and Stimpy a little bit when it was still being aired. I did not realize that was not a children's show. Yep. Samurai Jack, one of my favorites too. Oh man. I remember watching an episode in Samurai Jack which featured the Spartans, like the 300 Spartans. And I'm not sure if did that episode come first or did the movie 300 come first? Like around time. Because the scene was so well put, it had a slow motion combat and everything. Anyway, you don't know what I'm talking about. Yes, Johnny Bravo, of course. Who? I love that guy. Oh, come on. Cowboy Bebop is a completely different genre, Beth. What? Annoying orange. Hey, Apple. Yes. Ah, yes, that's true. I think Cowboy Bebop is more nitty gritty and grounded in reality despite being set in the future. It's something if you watch it as an adult you would be able to relate to. Yes. Why did you say hey Apple like that? Hey Apple. Guess what? What? Hey Apple. That's all I remember. That's all I remember. Lockwood and Co. I heard about that. Wasn't able to watch anything though. Tom and Jerry in all of the Acme cartoons. So there's Tom and Jerry, right? There's Wiley the Coyote. It's the Roadrunner show. The Bugs Bunny show. What's the name of the guy? He looks like a gringo. You know, he has revolvers. He has like the big orange beard. Sam something. Yosemite Sam. Yeah, I remember him. And then there's Taz. Oh man. Yes. The Looney Tunes. Yeah, Yosemite Sam. Oh man. I remember this particular episode in the Bugs Bunny show was the Looney Tunes where Bugs was leading a bunch of hillbillies and he was singing along with them. It was the dumbest, funniest thing I've seen or I can recall. I'm not gonna sing the song. I know how it sounds now. Why if it isn't Minisar? Nah, I'm just kidding. Minisauri. Ever since I've seen you don that Hydra, Avi, I cannot unsee the word soar from your name. I guess the soar. How are you doing? Thanks for showing up last time. Also, it wasn't just me who saw you without the clothing that you said was supposed to be on. Bugs Bunny was the best. The SAR goes. You almost made me RAWR. Yeah, blue scales too. Right, blue. I guess we gotta double check during the next meetup. It's not like I like seeing that model and the other stuff you have or anything. No, I actually do. What's that? Hey, what's up, Nog? Suffering succotash. Don't even get me started on Porky Pig. Oh, man. I need to check. I gotta figure out why. Maybe some sort of this thing. Yeah, maybe the parameters aren't enabled perchance, but what do I know? I'm a newbie when it comes to these avatar things. The end. Great musical choice and tracks of choice, Blue. It's almost 2 a.m. It is indeed almost 2 a.m. 15 minutes away to be precise. Gosh, so close. Also, why no? I don't know. Maybe if you ask nicely, Minnie, I might. I don't think I've ever done that on stream. Not in a year and a half I've been going live. So it's embarrassing. That's why. I have read the Asterix and Obelix comics. Funny, the comics were huge. It was and you shall get it in person then. Deal. And only if you do it with me. All right. It's embarrassing. Oh my gosh. Yes, Beth, I did MEOW. All right. It was 100,000 channel points, and I honestly thought nobody would ever be able to save that amount. But lo and behold, Vesper, the great betrayer. Minnie says, I'm pretty sure I heard you say it last meetup when I did it and somebody else did. I have no recollection of such an event happening. Maybe it didn't happen. I am 12% of the way there. Watch us save. I'm going to put a new goal. It's going to be 300,000 points. It's where I do the R word that Minnie just said. And I'm going to do it with feelings. It's part of my imagination. No, Libid, it was Vesper who made me do that. I don't know. Okay. If you can't save up for the points because it's a matter of time, maybe if we get this filled up, I might just do a once in a blue moon thing that I mentioned. Not like it's gonna get filled anyway. What are the odds? 1 second. No. Wait. Oh no. Some emotional, meaningful clause out here. Oh god, I almost did it. Yeah, no, nah. It's not. Trust me. This is where it's gonna stay fixed. Oh shit. Oh.
Evil Grin.
It's so Beth dealt major damage, but it's so close. Come on, sync. So it's there we go. There. So much. This is just tiny lifesaver of a gap in the goal. That's not quite there yet. Ooh, to say the I can say the first two letters. I don't know why chat really wants me to say the or the yeah, that one, the is that your boss health bar just reversed? Yes. If you fill this up, you successfully defeat me into doing something mildly humiliating on stream, which I normally don't. It's either one of my super expensive channel point redeems, Zerda, or back then, I used to do wagers on live. So I would bring out the coin, right? And then we would have a little game of chance. If it landed on heads or tails, depending on your choice, I would win or I would lose. If I won, I would have a bit more coins in my pocket. If I lost, well, you get to request something from me, which I do on the spot, or I show it after stream, my little after stream specials. I think you can see most of those over at the edited clips category. 375.01. You know, Beth, that sounds like a NVIDIA driver version 2 years ago. E7501. Hi there, Kiro. Ra. Ah, yes, the Lady Gaga song. So close. I'm gonna stop. Tell us a funny joke and you'll get a galaxy. You have probably asked somebody with the driest of humors over at TikTok. My humor is unintentional, and it's when I start talking about food and racial things. But I can give you some good advice now. Are you up for that? Minnie says, I would donate if I could. Happy to help anytime, but at the moment need to save up ourselves here. Hope you reach it soon though, so we can hear the and the Yes, yeah. Minnie, please. It's okay, don't worry about it. Like, only if you have excessive, no, excessive, I'm sorry, that's only Beth. Only if you have excess coins and pennies lying around, and sure, you can toss it my way. And I would gracefully accept it, graciously. But please, do not put yourself in a tight spot if you're going to help somebody else. You saying you want to support, you just staying here on stream, you just dropping by to say hello, you just lurking on him, and somehow enjoying the yapping I'm doing is more than enough to make my heart swell. Truly. It sounds like something a PR or a marketing actor would say, but no, I mean it. Geb has spicy humor and TikTok does not like it. Oh no, the 100 million% TikTok's gonna flag me again. Thank you, Bartolom. Oh, I almost fell prey to that name. Bartolo, MEOW. Minnie, you can give me moral support by showing more of your fantastic models during the next meet. Like, yes. A fantastic visual treat. Minnie says my TikTok streams got flagged too. I'm on a break. You got suspended for 7 days? Oh, God, same here. Did you know my current TikTok stream right now is actually flagged for hate speech? I could have sworn I was just talking about what food I liked and what cuisine. Weird. Hee, will do. Yes, I have something to look forward to, chat. It's always inspiring to look upon something oh so craftedly wonderful, so beautifully fabricated. With face and full body tracking, too. Best said. Someone said they would give him a galaxy if he told a joke. Would you consider yourself bald? No, actually. I mean, if you look up, you can see my hair. Minnie continues her plight about TikTok, in which she says is bagging on female VR chat furries in general. A friend of mine has to be careful too, although we just sit there and chat. Oh, I remember Vesper just sitting in chat too. And she doesn't even have human skin tone. But somehow her long sleeve outfit got flagged for adult stuff. And I was like, wow, TikTok. I mean, I thought I was a prude. Oh, I'm gonna. Oh, there we go. I gotta re-enable the flow, the hydraulics to the buttocks. There you go. Hi, chat. So when you sit too long, this part loses circulation, okay? So do your stretch. Oh god, that's do your stretches. There we go. My left leg was starting to feel a bit bummed. Uh-oh. Ah, yes. What do you know? Yes, do the wiggles. Oh, trust me, once I am in my new apartment, I shall wiggle a bit more than I currently can. I am limited by the technology of my time. I mean, I'm just joking. By the limitations of my play space. So I really can't do much. Unfortunately. It also does not help with the stool you use. Yes. Oh my. Did it not turn itself on? There we go. How much is your play space at the moment? I would say a good. I'm gonna show you how wide, okay? Here. Until here. That's it. And then forward and backward is roughly the same amount. I keep on telling chat I play in a coffin space, a standing coffin space. I can't even take one full step in any direction without hitting anything. That's why I'm moving to a new apartment, which lets me do 6 steps. I'm living in a 1x1 box. I have a picture of that over at my VR chat picture channel. Yes. Yeah. That's true. Oh well. What can we do? Yeah, super small play space. Gosh. I need to give in a box sticker. That looks cute and very apt, realistic. So it's just me like with my knees like huddled up, so like this. Wait, can I do it? Like this. Please adopt me. I'm just joking now. Don't adopt me, chat. I'm good. What's this? The hopes is to go from a box to an actual living space. Oh, it is. Trust me. The first phase of the living space goal has been met. It's just now making a comfortable, clean, undamaged space for this particular goal. Lip. Shh, 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 shh. Howler's not here. I don't think there's gonna be any clip. Can you adopt me instead? No, I can barely take care of myself. Having to take care of another person? That's not my cat. I'll grab it for her. No, no. Beth, you have important diplomatic things to tend to, right? Your coffee beans. I'm off. Damn. Ugh. People, Skrunkle says, I've been planning on drawing Geb for at least a little sketch anyways. May as well hop onto the chat. I won't stop you with your artistic pursuits. Okay? If you want to go for me, then please go ahead. Can you adopt another cat? And by another cat, I mean a tiger bee. You do. Whoa, that's difficult because I did say I was looking for a tiger bee buddy. Maybe we can see how that is in a future community meetup. Yes. You are also creative artistically. Oh, please, Minnie. I do believe your stat points was allocated in the technical artistry part of things. I mean, gosh, you are magnitudes better than anything I can do, really. I wouldn't be so fascinated with how you did the topology on the chest. In particular, if I wasn't impressed. Look at me. One thing I want to know how is, well, how do I kit bash without having the funny seams between the two joined parts? Something I wish to refine. Especially if you're connecting two subdivided models already and there's a uneven vertex count between like the head and the torso. Anyway, for another time. But yes. If it had clothing that worked, yes. Okay. Hi, Sonic. Is there a dragon tiger bee in VR chat yet? I've yet to see. Hello, Hikara. Once a day, I want some chai. I'm working on something special for myself as well, says Labine. Learning how to Unity work was hard. Oh, it is. Look, I only have around a year of experience myself. And more than half of it was just me fumbling around. Any semblance of proper 3D work is probably only starting Feb of this year. He goes, while pushing her glasses. You'd want to apologize once it's all connected or smoothing it out. That's the funny thing. I have no idea what retopologizing is. What I do is I just manually merge and weld the vertices, and if things end up as like pentagons, I may turn them into triangles and whatnot. Doesn't work the best. Yes. Oh, don't even get me started on getting things painted between the conjoined parts on Substance Painter. But yes, a discussion sometime perchance. It's redoing all the vertices on the model. What will happen to the UVs though? Would the island still remain the same? What should I do if my boyfriend is cheating, asks Athena. On me, should I get back with him? It's less of a get back with him, you know. You get back at him. Would need to make new UV maps. Ah, that's the painful part, huh? Oh my, oh my. Hello, Tian Man. Beth really got the clip. I saw nothing. If you interpret it that way, Athena, yes. Do you know German? I unfortunately do not know German. See you around. I'm German, says Minnie. How do you say it? Gesundheit. When you say bless you. Guten Morgen. Guten Nacht. And that's the extent of German I know. Thank you so much for the bitty, Haruxi. I won't hear your response. What do you mean? The only German I know is Bier. Is that for beer? Oh, I remember my German. Hold on. Hold on. I used to say it all the time because it stuck with me. Ah, yes, the Scheisse Opa, a loving way to call your grandpa. I said when I heard that phrase, I said, you know what? If I play any World War II games and I have a tank, I'm gonna spray paint like Scheisse Opa. Oh no. Yeah, it's the funny thing I remember. Thank you so much, Gummy Pop Shark Dog. This is like watching a live Pixar movie. This is perfect. Perfect. My goodness. That is some high expectations to fill in. I think I'm anything but perfect. Please, there's so many wonderful content creators out there. Is that what I'm gonna name the Africa twin? The Scheisse Opa. I'm just gonna print a little sticker. Scheisse Opa 1100. Perfect. Do you know the meaning? Oh, yeah, of course. It's like, shitty grandpa. With a tank, you could steal a bike. Who's going to stop it? I want to ride a tank once. Not six-wheel vehicles. No, actual treads left and right. Maybe a Sherman, you know. I heard they have good suspension. Thank you, Brandy Can. Seems Zerna's still watching over at TikTok, my goodness. Going strong, huh? Riding a tank would indeed be fun. Beanie says, I gotta go make dinner for the family. Today is Friday, that means pizza day. Please save me a slice. Fresh and handmade. Oh, save me 2 slices, Minnie. But yes, I'll see you around. Lovely of you to drop by, and I hope you guys enjoy the dinner. I redeemed a bad life advice. Okay, alright. Ooh, we're talking about girls now? Alright, Blue Scales, I'll entertain this. Geb, how do I get this girl to like me back? Well, that's a rather broad question, but bad life advice? It's simple. Much like in the primeval times of old, attracting a mate is predominantly visual and smell. So, what you do, what you focus on, is if your looks kind of falls flat, you focus on the smell part. Now, little does the world know that saliva actually contains a whole lot of opposite sex pheromones. So, you get your saliva and you put it on your hair. You ever wonder why the old people do that, right? They lick and then they do that with their hair. That's how they get the ladies. That's how your grandpa got your grandma. So now all you gotta do that in order to find a girl that will like you. You work on their instinct, Blue. Bad life advice, by the way, Che. Get the bright colored shirt and dance. It works for spiders, it should work for you. Precisely. Just don't wear the funny orange vests and block the roads, okay? Not that kind of bright clothing. I mean, you're not wrong about the look. I did not intend that to be the focal point of said advice. I'm currently eating pizza for dinner, says Chaos Ruby. What a coincidence. Pizza. Thank you, Dallin. Why is your new apartment 500,000? This is not $500,000. That's divide that by 100 probably. It's TikTok coins. Not like I heard anything on TikTok anyway. I'm eating mac and cheese for dinner. Mac and cheese is a filling, but not exactly healthy choice. Go ahead, what is your question, Zyvexcar? Don't forget about those bright clothes gluing themselves to the road. I would just close my eyes and not lift my feet off the accelerator. When it comes to coasting in like a highway with no people blocking the road, I mean. It's very tasty. I see. Can you do your deepest voice? Do you not notice I'm actually relatively high pitched yet? I just modulate between going high and then low. Time to time. Oh, please. Any attempt on having a deep voice is going to pale in comparison to, let's say, the likes of the wolf. He just has a natural diesel-tastic resonance to his tone. But yes, to my bad life advice earlier, please, make sure to keep your breath nice and minty fresh. Brush your teeth twice a day, thrice even. Yes, twice a day for after your meal, and then when you take a bath, thrice if it's every meal. The bead says, my great-grandpa was 7'1" and my great-grandma was 5'1", and I'm curious as to what made them start the relationship. Your grandma simply had a rather big sense of curiosity and good taste, and most of all, an adventurous spirit. A 2-foot difference? Like, grandma, you would just see grandma's scalp here, and then grandpa's here. X-Wing, thank you for the subscription. Happy birthday, Bonnie. Uppies. Maybe that's what the grandma wanted. You have a great day too, Grim Reaper. Thanks for dropping by. Yep. A happy birthday in advance, Zive. So your dad got the short end of the stick, Libby. But you got like the height. Okay. I'm the tallest. What's this? I'm the tallest member of my family, says Zerda, going back 3 generations. I have no idea where it came from. Oh, you know, it's probably from all the growth hormones and the food we eat nowadays. Yeah, thank you, Bakery. I actually take that as a compliment. My goodness. Chat, we're but 9 minutes away from me having to skedaddle. Oh dear. Do I extend stream in hopes of having this moved or bit of a time crunch. Do I have Monday off so I can focus on the renovations? Priorities to pick. Thanks, Sylvain. What's this? Frost the Silly Dragon says, I'm scrolling through Twitch recommended page and I come across one of the most interesting looking avies people. Ah, yes, I am but an avatar, chat. I don't have a driver, a pilot, a person. I am nothing but a... What do they call it again? It's not an automaton. It's like the dolls. No, not a puppet. I don't know. But yes, thank you. Oh, I just love how sassy your character is. Sassy? Me? No, please. My sassy, chat. Sassy Gib? Never. Please. AI confirm, 100%. No, you're not. You're there we go. Class C. I feel like if you wanted to, you could nail Hades' vibe from Hercules. If I was not held by oh no, to be fair, Hercules was held by TOS, wasn't it? Look, to those of you that have met me in VR chat, you will know the full extent of my personality. It's I like poking fun at things. I see something shining. I see something standing out. I will start to feel that itch and I need to let you know about it. In case and point of Axel, for example. Hola, buenas. How are you, bro? I'm doing okay. Thank you. Yeah, you're totally not the tailbot. It was your microphone. I wanna get with you right now and whoa there, Zive. My goodness. Let's get to know each other first. You can be as sassy as you want to be. Say, oh, please.
I already have a fair share amount of people that don't exactly like me. Dare I say there's a group of haters out there.
Why is this the first thing I hear upon entering chat?
What did you hear? Oh, the tailbot? You see, one of my community members decided to show up to the community meet 2 nights ago. And in particular, the avatar had a rather standout, let's not call it defect, feature. And it was the tail being particularly located in a lower spot than usual. It makes it look like instead of coming out of the spine, it was simply being clenched in place. Ploppity plop plop. Yep. So walking down the corridor, I accidentally step on it, and then you hear the ploppity plop plop. Sorry, dear. Yeah. Your voice in Spanish sounds like a movie narrator. See.
It looked like it is the end of Ace of Spades.
Ace of Spades.
Remove the before flight tag, yes.
No, it's not the front tail. It was in the rear. Literally in the rear. A most peculiar looking behind with a object jutting out just between the two sandwiches, the buns on the back. Telenovela worthy. Say, Maria, why will you not return your love to me? What must I do? I, Alejandro the Great, son of, I don't know any Spanish names, son of Alejandro Sr. Not impress the beautiful lady before me. Axel just tipped 25.01. Axel just donated to get Geb to stop. You are pardoned for the rest of the stream, Axel. Thank you. 100%. The tail was in the correct. It was actually a design feature. Axel was simply trying to break away from the norm of having the tail positioned above by where the coccyx should exit. But here, he said, you know what? Let's start something new. It's like coloring outside the lines, but with the tail. And it's clenched. There you go. There's less than a minute left. Oh my goodness. Will you look at that? Beth has decided to keep the decimal point in place. My goodness. When will the decimal ever disappear? I don't know. I think it's gonna constantly reappear thanks to several members of my viewers. Beth dealing it with like an itch he has to scratch with money. Oh, so Beth, thank you. I am paying to hush him and he's paying to not hush him. Oh my. Do I continue the discussion? I actually know a small amount of Spanish, says CMC. I wish I did. Maybe I unknowingly knew a few words. Little was I aware of that most of the words used in Tagalog, what we speak in the Philippines, actually uses quite the amount of borrowed words from the Spanish vocabulary. When I'm sick, when I have a fever or flu, we call it a trancazo. When I ate my delicious cracklings, it's called a chicharron. But then again, most people say it's more Mexican than Spanish. Oddly enough, the merchants here in little stalls, whatnot, we all count in uno, dos, tres. How much is this? 50 for two. Yes, we use this. We use that. What? 45. It's cheaper. My goodness. More people are willing to fix the annoying decimal. Oh, look at that. The stream is over. I don't know, Beth, and kind of bought extra time. What can I do? Ah. Oh dear, oh my. What do we do? Looks like you're gonna have me for a tiny bit more longer, chat. Whatever tea redeemed the hydrate, did you know I'm actually feeling the opposite right now? Which is gonna be the time limit of me ending stream, and you have just accelerated that. Unless you're willing to stare at the wall while I go unload whatever you're making me drink. Water the plants. There we go. Unless you're willing to wait while I go water the plants. Dragon Queen has been sending a bunch of stuff I didn't even notice. My goodness, I see the Van Cat, a crown, and a confetti. Why, thank you so much. Oh, you look at you being sweet. What brings you here, Dragon Queen? Again, thank you. Howler saw the clip, the non-existent clip. I have no idea what you mean. Look at the zoom out. May I ask, what is the base? This that you see before you. It's called the Hydrogaea by TokuZilla. It's funny, at each and every live I have, there's always somebody asking what abbey this is. I'm half tempted to maybe post a FAQ somehow. I mean, how would I do that? The screen is already cluttered as is. I'm gonna add more elements to it. Like, Geb is a Hydrogaea by TokuZilla. I like the outfit. Thanks. Do you want to add it to the Discord playlist? I don't know about that. What is happening? I just got here. You have inadvertently joined one of my lives where I sit and I yap. I don't know if I'm watching a VR avatar real time. Please, this is VR chat, 100%. Tail? What do you mean tail? What about my tail? What do you mean tail? Yeah, I don't know. TikTok chat's saying something about my tail. My correctly placed tail.
Thank you, Sable.
Nah, this is 100% real life. Shh. You're gonna let chat catch on that I'm actually just wearing a. No, not even. Mm-mm. NDA clause.
Stay around, delinquent.
Thanks for dropping by.
Hello, Mitzi.
He is very good at yapping.
Constantly flapping that big mouth of his.
Hi, Geb. What headset do you use?
Ah, this is the MetaQuest Pro Max XL15.
By the way, let me introduce myself. I am Sam, a furry horror artist and a fan of classic cinema. Hi, Sam. Normally you do that in the server, but a polite introduction all the same. Axel, think of it like this. You are a teaching experience to the community, says Beth. That's true. A classic example of double check your things prior to uploading, which I also am a victim of. I tend to miss a lot of stuff when I make changes. Dragon Queen says I have a quest 3 currently getting my avatar created in a foxy paw. Is it the Azalea, I assume?
That's the female dragon I'm familiar with from Foxy Paws.
Quite excited. Excited for you. It's always nice to be able to slink into your own personalized skin in social games such as these.
I bet you look fantastic.
I hope you get the apartment now. I hope I get it done soonest. I have 2 weeks remaining, chat. My goodness. Did you commission your Avi? Oh, I'm a kit bashing pro, please. Now, I know the basics. Think of it as a mechanic who knows how to change the tires on his car. Is that bioluminescence on your ear? Yes, chat, it is. Grab one. Well, one. Yeah, boss. As beautiful on the outside as you are. Wait, what? Are you as beautiful on the outside? That's for you to tell me. I don't really want to call myself this and that, but I leave the judgments and descriptions to the people I meet instead of coming out of my own mouth. As I've said, I don't want to sound arrogant or exude an ego that will be perceived. If you think I'm cool, then awesome. If not, well, too bad. I'm not your CMC. They're flirting. Nah, Blue's not flirting. Besides, Blue here's after girls, not guys. Uh oh. Is that your normal voice? Chat, if I had to strain my voice and make myself sound different, I don't think I can keep it up for very long. I tend to speak a bit slower because I'm being careful about the TOS of the streaming platform I'm on. I'm on. There we go. My lips stripped. Last year, I didn't know jack squat about making my own avatar. Then I discovered the magical repository of knowledge which is called YouTube. And then here I am. Of course, with the help of a few knowledgeable friends in 3D as well. Hey, how do I merge vertices automatically? Oh, I can do it by distance. Wow. That's what everyone who is flirting would say. YouTube, trust me. Good afternoon, Hio. Oh, it's Cheaty. Hi there. Good. Because I realize now how annoying I was to my friends to, hey, sorry to wake you up, but I did not understand what you meant by merging the armatures. How do I do that again? And then I have to wait like 12 hours, sometimes more. Dragon Queen is sending, hey, shouldn't you be saving some of your resources so you can buy more clothes for your upcoming Avi? You woke them up. Different time zones. Of course, I didn't wake them up. I simply left them a message. That's what I did. I was messaging my friend. His name's Toivo the Truce. Toivo, how do I do this? It was in Blender. And he said, yeah, okay, they'll have to wait because I'm currently fixing the flat on my bike. Oh, yes, sure, take your time. But it means I gotta do this, right? Yeah. I love the guy. He's been so patient with my questions. Karma, I'm from the Philippines. Perchance that will answer your question about the accent. Please, child. I think the call of sleep is more important than watching this black and blue stranger on stream. Plus, you'll get eye bags. Hello, Herman. Ah, is the weather nice in the Philippines? Do you know what this fundraiser is for? Whatever. That is to deal with the rainy weather that has happened a week or so back. There's water damage in the apartment that needs to be tended to, and I need to buy preventive measures too. One of them is the wet vacuum that Beth told me about. Oh, I'm just using some gaming headset as my mic because the Quest Pro has a terrible plosive. Yeah, terrible plosives. Hmm. Where were we? I love the rain too, says Zerda. But that's probably because I live in the desert. Yes, if you definitely need more water then. Rain is beautiful, fantastic, relaxing, nourishing. But not when you're trying to waterproof the leaks in an apartment midway through a renovation, and everything else cannot be done on schedule because of said water ingress. Yes. I love rain when it's outside. What Cheaty said. I was dancing a shamanic dance to call down rain. I wouldn't even doubt what you just said, Libane. Call of sleep, what is that? Happens when you run out of so, so like a generator powering down. That's how your system is, Beth. Oh no, we're out of gas slash coffee. Whoa, and Beth goes to bed. Ow. Ow, whoa, stretch. Ah. This posture of mine is not the best. Oh, is this my cat? Hello. Yami, you click the mouse. No, sorry. My cat. That is all funny, sorts of funny menus on my overlay. Okay, there. I only like rain when I'm playing an offline game. When I'm playing online, I hate. Ah, yes. Latency spikes. Midway through the match, as you're defending your base, you disconnect. Sleepy guy. What's your setup? Nothing fancy. Quest Pro, slime trackers. Did Yami flip the... He jumped over the chair that's in front of me right now. It's like over here, right? And this is where like my mouse is, so I can click stuff out of game. My indexes aren't working great at the moment when it comes to clicking things on the desktop. So yeah. Your cat is just hunting for mice. Uh-huh. Hey, hold on. We're almost at 3 hours. 3 hours, tops. Okay, which means 13 more minutes, and then I gotta skedaddly do. I'm not sure if I can promise a stream this Monday because whatever funding we make here is probably what I'm gonna take, and like I need to work on the apartment ASAP. Now that I think about it, 2 weeks is really cutting it close. Should be manageable. I hope. I'm glad I popped in when I did. For how short this was, certainly a pleasant experience. Well, I'll be seeing you during the next live, won't I, right? Besides, we have more than 10 minutes remaining. Let's make the most of it, shall we? Ah, yes, the tail. Hiring. You do what you gotta do, Geb. We will miss ya, but we will party when you get back. Oh, most definitely. Think of a little celebratory thing once everything is set up over at the apartment. Don't worry. The one community hangout you don't want to miss. No, I didn't make this avatar, please. I simply edited the Hydra Gaia that you can buy over at Gumroad, made by TokyoZilla. At this point, I'm just an advertisement for TokyoZilla with the amount of avatar-related questions. Then again, if I ignore the questions, I will sound rude, which we don't want. I was about to say, are you sponsored? No, nobody has asked me for anything yet. I wonder when I'm gonna get sponsorships. I'm open for it. I mean, I'm not joking about having a toothpaste sponsorship. It would be hilarious if that thing came to fruition. Being sponsored by Amazon, can you imagine? Or the government of Lithuania. No, don't worry. Those are just spam. Little gremlins trying to disrupt. You would do great for a toothpaste company, says JT. I mean, look at those pearly whites. Minty fresh, Chan. Yes, minty fresh. Sponsored in part by people like you. Now, oh, no, how long have I been live? 2 hours and 51 minutes. I have 8 minutes remaining with you, chat. As of now. Now what to do after? I wonder. Community meet? I'm not sure. I need to. Oh, it's still early. I might be able to. Let's see. What's that? I saw a funny tree sprout over at my TikTok. Is that you, Dragon Queen? It was, wasn't it? Never getting tired of hearing me saying thank you, I see. You got. Oh, I get the sponsorships on TikTok, but these are all just spam and scam, so I don't entertain any of it. I barely check my messages in any social media platform, Chan. Yeah, more often than not, because these are not from good intentioned nor genuine personalities. Hello, Norn. Enjoy sleep. Maraming salamat. Pero mamaya pa ako matutulog. 3:00 pa lang naman. Now, doesn't mean I won't sleep though. Probably will later. I really need to get to work on the apartment though. To replace that one bulb socket that apparently did not have any of the metal contacts inside. It was just the porcelain. See you, Tianma. Somebody got me some chocolate. That's cute. Thank you. My Tony's Chocolonely is one of my favorite chocolates. I even like it more than Hershey's. It's purple for me, Blue. I sugar can't. They just stuck a outfit plate and didn't. What? No, I seriously, it was just the porcelain container that screwed to the ceiling, and there was nothing inside. I was like, what the heck? I was trying to screw the bulb in. It's like, why ain't it biting? I'm like, oh. Thank goodness it's cheap. It's like $1 for a replacement. I ordered it. I'm not sure when it's gonna arrive. But that was certainly something really funny. Oh no, I should have ordered more, huh? I wasn't able to check on the balcony. The only one I know wasn't working was by the main entrance. The 3 other ones are working. Yeah. Tomorrow I'll find out.
It was chocolate and a bag of kitty foods too. A treat for you and a treat for your friend. Cheaty being ever so sweet, not only to the streamer, but to my cat as well. Thank you. You hear that, Yami? You got your sponsorships too. He's in the litter box. Let me see the elbows. Oh, these things? What about them? Nothing fancy. So, chocolate for my cat and mine's the cat food. Got it. Okay. It's just- Speaking of which, I am feeling rather peckish. That's hungry for you. I remember. I have one shawarma just to be heated in my fridge. Yeah, I've been a regular to this I think it's a Persian or Turkish place nearby. They sell really nice kebabs and they're pretty cheap. $2 for the small wooden container. I mean the paper plate with box with rice in it. Your cat is a little gremlin. Or he likes the he's a little attention seeking feline. Always wants to be next to me, always wants to be within visual range. If he doesn't see me, he's gonna make loud cat noises. Any Greek places near you where you can get a gyro? I don't think so. What is this gyro that you mentioned? Boy cats cuddle on the body, girl cats cuddle as close as possible. My cat is a guy, but he will always cuddle in various places. Here by my arm, he's gonna ball up, and so he's also underneath the blanket when we're asleep. Or he's going to be here in between the legs, and yeah. I think he just likes the warmth. Ajairo. Euro? I have no idea what it is. The Greek thing. There. Euro. Is that how I pronounce it? Euro. I'm sure your cat enjoys hearing your voice during your streams. Just as much as we... I never considered that. Yami, do you like hearing my... Yes, you do. Okay, hello. Come here. Yami. What? Yes, he approves. Hi, Yami. Gyro, I see. So, this Greek gyro. What is this? A meatball of sorts. Did I hear a Vesper? That wasn't Vesper. That was my cat. If his sounds made it to my mic. Excuse me. Sonic says, gyro has lamb and tzatziki sauce and onions. Sure, send it over to the food channel and let me go review this dish you're recommending. Somebody said, pss, 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 pss. Drax, come here. Come on. Be a good kitty. That was a joke, by the way. It's all put on naan bread and rolled up like a burrito. Oh, okay. I see. I now want one of these gyros.
Hmm. How do you say cat in your native language? We call them pusa. 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 Or more casually, kuting. 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 Goten Koshka. I see. That's cute. Yes. I mean, it, kuting, cat, pusa. It is 3:01, chat. It is time for the goody goody bye byes. Time for me to skedaddly do. Time for me to heat my shawarma. Mishka apparently means little bear. Yeah. Alas, yes. I'll try one. Sure. I'll try this Iro. I'll remember it. Anywho, it's time to alt tab and check who's streaming on Twitch. I wonder who. Oh, sorry about that. Clickety the Firefox. Alrighty, come on. Let's see. Strips 24/7. Mm-hmm. Oh, whoa, wow, that's loud. Alright, let's see. No, Gerson, no. I'm in the second row. And there's so many e-girls up, down, left, right. One day. We'll get there, chat. I'm still live, Kenji, yes. Ba, 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 ba. I mean, I'm not supposed to be live anymore. This is the post-stream stream. See you again. Anywho, you know what? Oh God, what did I do? I'm not gonna prolong things. I will probably do one more stream before I need to take a week's worth of or more of break because I need to focus on the renovations for my apartment. I know, I want to see you guys as much as you want to see me. Like, chatting with you has become part of my routine, really. Sharing little tidbits about my day and answering the usual questions. And Now, first of all, let me thank everybody who's contributed to our fundraiser goal. Couldn't make this new apartment thing possible without you guys' help, really. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. So yeah, I can't promise I'll be live on Monday. I will try my best. If and when I do go live on Monday, it may be the last or second to the last stream. Then I need to take a break so I can 100% focus on the move and the other extracurricular activities. But who knows, I may be able to stream all the same too. I can't tell yet. Maybe I need to start doing the flooring first so I can have a good judge of just how much work is in store for me. Whew, I am not looking forward to it. There are gonna be a lot of days in which my back is going to ache. Yeah. Oh, hi there, Reed. Oof. Anywho, first let's say goodbye to TikTok. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thank you very much. See you around, TikTok. If I can click you. Let's try this again. Now, focusing entirely on Twitch. What do we say and do? So, I think I've said everything I needed to say. I'll keep you guys updated on Discord. 100% I'm gonna be on Discord though. You're probably gonna see me in VC. I might stream part of the renovations that's going. And yeah. Good night, Cam. Thanks for being there. No, thank you for being there. So Beth, Zach, who is asleep, and everybody else. There's a lot of names. So many of you gave subs. So many of you gave bits. So many of you gave cheers. Thank you so much again. I'll see you on Discord. There. So it doesn't sound like I'm saying farewell or anything. Twitch gets a few extra moments. Always, always. Sometimes up to an extra hour. Depending on how well stream is going or on my mood. But first things first, I need to eat. And I'll be seeing you guys around. Why does it feel like I don't want to close the live just yet? But I have to. I'm dying. I'm really hungry, child. I need to dig my teeth into that shawarma. Have that nice yogurty white garlic sauce and a little bit of the chili sauce with tomatoes that's diced. Yes. Yo, eat shawarma. Oh, I most definitely will. Don't worry. All right, stream's over. I'm off to eat my shawarma, and you are off to do your own. Yes, see, I'm even lagging. So yeah, stream's over. Skedaddly do your things. You require. Oh yes, that's why. Now here's the thing: if you guys leave, I can go eat. Right. Good night, Sonic. Good night, Nordex. See you around, Blue. Mitzi. Waffle Carp. Of course. Libid. Axel. And Sonic Silver. Waiting for the viewer count to go down and then I can go. Now we wait. From 71. Games a Tiger Beastly. There we go, finally to 56. Chat, thank you for being merciful today. You're actually allowing me to go eat. I'll see you around, alright? Good luck with whatever you're doing. Enjoy your Friday, alright? Make the most of it. You're about to be greeted by a rather lovely weekend. Have a good time. I'll try my best too. I have a lot of renovations to start. So yes. Yeah, the stream's over. Stream's done. It's closed. My live is very much leavable at the moment. Don't mind me. Just looking at things. Papa, I still need a tiger bee buddy. Yes. $56. Come on. One more drop and I am gonna go click this funny button called stop streaming and not do the post stream. So, no or no Any moment now. Tiger bee. Yes, Drangs. You can't show up on the community meets if you want, All you gotta do is join the group and then. Yes. All right, 56. I swear, 56. It goes down by even one. I'm gonna click. I can already smell that shawarma being reheated over at the microwave. Come on, just gonna use my telekinesis. Oh, you're lying. Totally not 61. Shower. Why are there still so many lurkers? I'm looking at you, chat box. You hear that? The sound of the ticking clock. That's me waiting for you to close my stream or click the streamers over at the left. Or, yeah, left of your screen. Yeah, thank you, Nico. Shoo. At that point, fried fish. Wait. Yes, go tend to your Pakistani fried fish. Oh, you caught it yesterday. Fishing. Amazing. Okay, legit, my back is starting to hurt a little bit. Let's see, so shallow. None of my friendissimos are oh, except Matthew is at a meeting. Does that mean I'm free? Finally free. Four to 7, you're free. Thank goodness. Chat. All right. I'm gonna go. And so should you. Hello, Index. Oh my goodness. Already 40, get some rest. Thank you, chat. Enjoy the weekend. Don't let me hold you back. I will see you on